Down to Earth, brought to you in association with the Musée de l'Homme.
Hello, you're watching Down to Earth with Marina Birch and Mairead Dundas. Now, we're all familiar with fast food, but how well do we know fast fashion?
That's clothing produced in a hurry to feed customers with a never-ending appetite.
Unlike other industries, the price of clothes has gone down over the last few decades, but at what cost?
H&M. So then I went to Forever 21.
Among the ocean of clothes made each year, one particular product stands out: jeans, both popular and polluting.
From the denim capital of the world, we take a look at how this everyday item is leaving a trace on the planet and why it doesn't necessarily need to be that way.
It's the most worn piece of clothing in the world. 2 billion pairs are sold every year. Jeans are a truly universal pair of trousers. But behind this familiar sight, an ecological disaster hides in plain sight. Manufacturing a pair of jeans requires hundreds of litres of water, pesticides, dyes, detergents, and your jeans have travelled thousands of kilometres before ever reaching a shop. The cotton is grown in India, spun in Pakistan, dyed in China, and cut and washed in Turkey. The zip can come from as far as Japan. In total, 65,000 kilometres for one pair of trousers. The dark side of this industry can be seen here in Xintang, China. It's the world capital of jeans. The fibres permeate the air, and blue water, thick with dye, runs along the streets, contaminated by wastewater from the factories. Every day, 2 million pairs of jeans are manufactured here. One of these workshops opened its doors to provide a look behind the scenes. These employees make the clothes. The jeans are impregnated with chemical colouring and are handled by hand. There are no face masks to be found, despite working next to these enormous washing machines with plenty of detergent.
Of course there's pollution, but if you work this job, you deal with it.
There are breathing problems because of the pollution, so you know that, yes, the air isn't good.
Environmental activists wanted to find out what products exactly are used in jeans. In 2012, they analysed around 15 pairs from major brands, and the results are shocking. They found substances which can cause cancer and are classified as toxic. Although consumers don't run any risk by wearing the jeans, they pollute in a less obvious way.
If you put your jeans in a laundry machine here in France, you will release back into the environment toxic substances which will remain in the environment and disrupt the ecosystem, which will have an impact on the quality of water, on the air, and you'll be able to find it back in the food chain.
But it is possible to produce jeans without polluting the planet. That's what this young entrepreneur was convinced of. He's managed to create a pair of jeans which is 100% ecological.
Everything down to the stitching is made in France. The cotton is organic, so that we are sure before making the jeans that the raw material is 100% environmentally friendly.
In France, the rules are strict. Here, no illegal substances that can endanger health, like indigo, for example, which, despite the risks, is still used in China.
Here you can see the products we use to dye the fibres, and afterwards we can recreate the look of jeans which are dyed with indigo, but instead they're made with chemicals which do not endanger health.
And once in the shops, these jeans cost the same as major brand models, despite being made safely in France.
Can mainstream fashion be more ethical and environmentally friendly? And if so, how? To help answer that, we're joined by Sophie Zombra, co-founder of Smart Fashion Week here in France. Sophie, it's the first edition this year. What's the idea behind it?
The idea is to make ethical fashion more accessible and less intimidating. Today, many people have set ideas about ethical fashion, whether it is about its looks, its quality, or its price. We wanted to show that it is possible to make ethical clothes at a reasonable price and for everyone.
For example, what are you wearing today?
Today I am wearing a cotton shirt made in India, and my pants were made in Turkey with Indian organic cotton. The shirt cost about 80 euros, and it's about 110 euros for the jeans.
We speak a lot about fast fashion, but what is hidden behind a t-shirt that costs 5 euros?
Hidden behind a 5 euro shirt are impacts on the workers. They are systematically underpaid. There are also negative consequences for the environment, and that's something people need to know.
We're now going to take a look at the human aspect of fast fashion. Together we're going to watch an extract from an eye-opening documentary. It's called The True Cost.
In Cambodia, garment workers have had enough, recently taking to the streets to demand a minimum wage increase in the country. As protests continued, workers were met with violent crackdowns as police began to open fire with live rounds.
A woman has been killed and several people injured in clashes between clothes factory workers and riot police in Cambodia.
Should we stop buying garments from places like Cambodia?
No, absolutely not. We can't boycott these countries, but we need to point a finger at the factories and especially the governments, because that's who is letting it happen. Outsourcing is a huge problem. You have companies like H&M who follow the laws, but then they work with factories who outsource to other factories who themselves exploit their workers. The real problem is that we close our eyes and pretend not to know what is happening.
The documentary also covered the tragic building collapse in Dhaka, Bangladesh in 2013. It's a disaster that killed more than 1,100 people. It prompted outrage and calls for sweeping reforms, including safety inspections and higher wages. Today, fashion giants have introduced more ethical collections which promise to improve standards.
Our CEO has personally met with the Prime Ministers of Bangladesh and Cambodia to promote higher minimum wages. And we have started to implement the so-called fair wage method in selected role model supplier factories.
Sophie, when you watch that, does it make you smile? Is it just PR or should we believe it?
There's a lot of greenwashing behind these ads, but it's also progress, because people are becoming aware of it. I think they do it particularly to help forget Rana Plaza and redeem their image. But at least they draw attention to this problem, and that is positive. They also bring the idea of recycling clothes, which is another big issue in ethical fashion. What do we do with our old clothes? Today, we buy and throw out clothes very quickly, and that is a big problem. In France, for example, we throw out up to 12 kilos of clothes a year, which is a lot.
So how do we buy more ethically? Well, to help us out, Marina has gone to meet Aloise Moignot, who offers sustainable shopping tours here in Paris.
Today I'm with Héloïse. Thanks for taking us on this shopping tour.
Thank you very much.
Together we're going to scrutinize garments to see where they've come from and if they've been sustainably sourced.
The first thing to do when you have a garment in your hands is to look at the label. For example, here we have organic cotton. Anything organic is good to have in your wardrobe.
All these clothes come from Cambodia, where they're made inside my workshop. It's ethical because my dressmakers are paid $400 per month. The price of the clothes is a little bit higher than some other brands, but remains very reasonable.
So Héloïse, if you could give us 3 tips when hitting the shops.
First, ask a salesperson and check the label for a sustainable certification. Secondly, you should sort through your wardrobe because we only wear 30% of our clothes. And the third thing is to choose items that people are selling from their closet, clothes that have been pre-loved.
There you go, Mairead, a crash course on sustainable fashion in Paris.
Thanks, Marina. That's all from us this week at France 24. Thanks for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you, as always, next time.